What if I told you that treating your employees like family might be the worst advice for your business? Or that loyalty is not dead, it just evolved? Here's a bold question for you. Is your company ready to stop pretending people stay forever? Because in this video, we're diving into a book that completely rewires how we think about hiring, keeping and growing the best talent in today's fast-moving, networked world. It's called The Alliance, and it's written by none other than Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn. Yes, the guy who built a professional network of over 900 million people literally wrote a book on how to manage talent in the age of LinkedIn. Coincidence? I don't think so. So if you're a manager, an entrepreneur, or just someone wondering how to grow without losing your best people, you need to hear this. Because the future of work isn't about climbing the corporate ladder. It's about navigating networks. And the Alliance shows us exactly how. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about the man behind the message. Reid Hoffman didn't just co-found LinkedIn. He's also been a key investor in companies like Airbnb, Facebook, and PayPal. The guy's fingerprints are all over Silicon Valley. But when he looked at how most companies still treat employment, he saw a huge disconnect. Companies preach long-term loyalty while quietly preparing to lay people off the minute times get tough. Employees pledge loyalty while secretly refreshing their resumes at night. It's fake, it's broken, and it doesn't work anymore. So along with co-authors Ben Casnocha and Chris Yeh, Hoffman wrote this book to introduce a better way, a new kind of employer-employee relationship built not on false promises, but on trust, growth, and mutual benefit. They call it the Alliance. So what is the Alliance? At its core, it's a new employment framework based on something called a tour of duty. And no, this isn't military jargon, but it's inspired by the same principle. In the military, people sign up for a defined mission. They train for it, execute it, grow in the process, and then decide whether to re-enlist or move on. Why don't we do that in business? That's exactly what the Alliance proposes. Instead of pretending someone will stay forever, companies and employees should agree on a clear mission that benefits both sides. It's honest, it's empowering, and it works. Let me break this down into 3 key ideas from the book. Number 1, the tour of duty. This is the heart of the book. It means agreeing up front on what success looks like for both the employee and the company over a realistic time frame, not vague promises, not endless loyalty, but a concrete, time-bound mission. Let's say you hire a software engineer. Instead of saying, "Welcome to the company, hope you stay forever," you say, "Let's agree on a 2-year tour of duty, where you lead the redesign of our mobile app. In return, the company will support that engineer's growth, visibility, and future opportunities whether inside or outside the company." There's clarity, there's trust, and there's a shared goal. And guess what? When employees know their development matters, just as much as their deliverables, they stay longer, they perform better, and they talk about your company like it's the best place they ever worked. That leads us to idea number 2. Transformational tours versus rotational tours. Not all tours are created equal. The authors explain 2 main types. Rotational tours are for entry-level roles. Think of a college grad doing a 1-year rotation in HR or sales to learn the ropes. It's structured, short-term, and usually used to build skills. But transformational tours? That's where the magic happens. This is when an employee takes on a challenge that pushes their limits and also moves the company forward in a meaningful way. Let me give you an example straight from the book. When LinkedIn hired Steve Cadigan as its first head of talent, it wasn't some forever commitment. He joined on a tour of duty to build a world-class recruiting team during a critical growth phase. He knew the mission. He aligned his goals with the company's needs, and he delivered massive impact during those years. When the tour ended, he moved on, but LinkedIn benefited long after he left. Because transformational tours create alumni, and alumni become ambassadors, advocates, and even future partners. Which brings us to the third big idea, The Alumni Network. This part blew my mind. Think about it. When someone leaves your company, what do? You revoke their email, you throw a goodbye party, and you forget about them. But in the Alliance, alumni are not lost assets. They are strategic advantages. Why? Because people don't just leave, they move on to other places. Where they can help you, they might become customers. They might send referrals. They might start companies and hire you. So Hoffman suggests treating ex-employees like valued alumni, just like top universities do. Harvard doesn't forget you after graduation. Why should your company? Here's a real story from the book. Ben Casnocha, one of the co-authors, once worked at LinkedIn under Reid Hoffman. After completing his tour, Ben left to start a new venture. Instead of cutting ties, Reid became his first investor. Why? Because they built trust during the tour. And trust is the currency of long-term alliances. Now let's get a little deeper, because this isn't just theory. It's happening in real companies right now. Take Facebook, for example. Mark Zuckerberg famously told new hires, "We don't build services to make money. We make money to build better services." But what he didn't always say publicly was that Facebook operates like a network of missions. People join teams. They solve problems. They move on. Not always to other companies. Sometimes just to other missions within Facebook. It's a series of internal tours of duty. And it works. Because people know what they're there to do and when they've done it. Another example? Netflix. The company has what's called a culture of freedom and responsibility. But under the hood, it's aligned with the Alliance. Netflix is brutally honest about its performance expectations. If you no longer fit the mission, they'll let you go kindly and with support. But if you're aligned, you'll grow like never before. Here's a question for you. If you left your job tomorrow, would your company treat you like an asset or like a defector? Would they invest in your future even if it's not with them? Or would they act like you broke some unspoken promise? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take. Because this question defines whether you're in a real alliance or just a transactional job. Now, let's bring it back to your life. Whether you're running a business or just trying to grow your career, here's how you can apply these ideas today. First, if you're a leader, start every hiring conversation with one simple question. What's the mission? Not the job title, not the responsibilities. The mission. What will success look like 2 years from now for both of us? Write it down. Agree on it. Track progress. Second, if you're an employee, ask yourself this. Is this company invested in my transformation? Are they helping me grow in ways that matter not just for them but for me? If the answer is no, you're not in an alliance. You're in a transaction. Third, build your own alumni network. Stay in touch with past colleagues. Help them when you can, because your next big break might come from someone you used to work with. Your network is your career capital. And like Reid Hoffman says, real relationships are built on mutual help, not shallow connections. This isn't just business. It's how modern careers are built. Let's zoom out and recap. The Alliance teaches us 3 powerful ideas. 1. Create tours of duty to align company needs with personal growth. 2. Design transformational missions that benefit both the employee and the organization. 3. Build an alumni network that turns former employees into lifelong allies. This isn't about being soft, it's about being real. And real relationships last longer than fake loyalty. That's why this book hit home for so many leaders. It doesn't sugarcoat the truth. It gives you a framework that works in the real world where people change jobs, grow fast, and need meaning more than ever. One last story before we wrap up. There's a powerful moment in the book where Reid recalls a conversation with a startup founder. The founder said, "I want to build a family culture." Reid replied, "Are you sure? Because firing your brother is really hard." Mic drop. He wasn't being harsh. He was being honest. Companies aren't families. They're alliances. And when alliances are built on clear missions and mutual benefit, everyone wins. So let me ask you this. What's your next tour of duty? Who's in your alliance? And are you building a career or just doing a job? Drop your answers below. Let's spark a conversation that matters. And if this video gave you a new way to think about work, growth, or leadership, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more deep dives like this. And of course, the next tour of duty starts in our next video. So make sure you bookmark for all, because we're just getting started. One final takeaway: the future of work is not about loyalty, it's about alignment, and that changes everything. Bookmark for all.